Hey guys, wobble wobble wobble, this is yours truly the big J. Welcome along and welcome back to the channel. So, it's very hot here outside in the garage and outside, which is why you can only see me, because I'm wearing a t-shirt, and trust me, you don't want to see me with a t-shirt. We're talking about tyres. Don't go away, come back. So guys, I didn't have a problem. Well, I did actually have a problem. Coming up to the 6K mark, I wanted to do an oil change. Well, I wanted to do two things mainly. Oil change, check the tyres, maybe possibly rotate them. And didn't get around to doing that. But then also I had an email from BMW that the brake fluid is doing under warranty. So put it in. Oil change, brake fluid. Thought, well, let me just do the tyres. Check the tyres, everything seemed to be okay at the time. And then basically a week later, there was this big bulge in the tyre, and I'll show you a picture about here. So, run flats. Basically what run flats are is a technology where the tyre is very stiff, the sidewall is very stiff. So if you have a puncture, instead of blowing out the tyre or deflating it, the tyre will still run, okay? They're very expensive, about double the price of an ordinary tyre. And there have been times when people use run flats and they basically say that they skip on the road, they're this, they're that, the other. And I had issues also with previous run flats on the 1 Series. On the 2 Series, the run flats have been awesome. Technology has come a long way. I'm using Pirelli Centiurotos, can't pronounce it, I'll put the name in there somewhere, P7s. And the car's also all-wheel drive, which may help. Now, there are some things which pertain to all-wheel drive and run flats, which you need to know. Now, on a car with all-wheel drive, you have basically, now I'll kind of dumb it down a little bit, or keep it simple rather, should I say. You basically have two differentials, one in the front, one in the back, and you have a transfer case in the middle. So basically all four wheels are driven, hence the term all-wheel drive. Slightly different to four-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is different to four-wheel drive. It does essentially the same thing. Please Google it up. I may even have a link here somewhere. Okay. With BMW, this may be the same for other cars, but for BMW, right, you must make sure that the tyres are even on all four, which means you have to rotate. I hate rotating. We've never done it in the UK. You have to rotate the tyres so that the tread is the same on all four tyres. Otherwise, you will mess up the transfer case and you will need a new one. And they're about £6 grand. You need to make sure of certain things to do with the tyre tread. So basically, on each axle, right, the difference between the left and right should not be more than 2 to 3 millimeters. So if tyre A is 5 millimeters, this should be 5 millimeters plus or minus 2 or 3. So it could go down to 3 or up to 7. You'll be okay. But between the two front tyres, between the front axle and the rear axle, no more than 2 millimeters. So if you've got 5 in the back, 5 in the front, that's fine. If you have 7 in the back, 5 in the front, that's fine. Okay, now, run flats are expensive. Each run flat for me worked at about 400 bucks. I had to pay 422 bucks to get my tyre replaced. So all the four tyres I checked, so the front tyres were, I think, 6 millimeters or 7 millimeters. What I have to do next tyre change is, now with all-wheel drive, depending whether you have staggered, right, or square setup. Square setup means all four tyres are the same. Staggered means the back ones are wider at the back. If you have square tyres, you cannot do what they do call a crossover. And I'll have a picture here somewhere. Where you basically rotate them around. You can only do front to back. And back to front again. Okay, you can, if you've got staggered tires, you can swap them from left to right, but if you have directional tires, this is getting confusing. If you've got directional tires, that means when you look at a tire, there'll be an arrow. So that means it must be on that side because it turns, right, when you're going forwards, right? Then you have to take the tires off and remount them. So it's a real pain if you have staggered tires. Okay, so in this car, I have a square setup on the front and the back. Okay, so that means that I can only swap front to back. I can't do another proper rotation. So maybe I'll get a chance next time I'm up with Steve. I'll get him to do a tyre rotation. I hate doing tyre rotations. We never did that in the UK. Okay. Now, this is the case for run flats. Now, new run flats are a lot better. Okay. You don't get as much issues with them. You do, you don't, depends. In Canada, the roads are garbage, right? Potholes, they don't fix them. So you hit a pothole, what happens is the wheel hits the pothole and then you get like a little bulge that will rip. Now, I forgot to take some pictures of the inside of the wheel when we were doing it, but the gash was deep. If that was an ordinary tire, basically what would have happened is it would have blown out, 100%, it would have blown out. When Steve took the tyre out and I looked on the inside, you couldn't see anything because I was driving around in that car for about 2 weeks, still holding 40 psi. I have no idea how it did it. Those sidewalls are thick, very, very thick and meaty because it's designed to run with no air. So they won't go flat, hence the term run flat tyre. So here, can you see it says rotation? So the tyre rotates around that way. And these are my, I don't know if it will say run flat. It may not say run flat. Here we go. Can you see? Run flat tyres. And can you see how thick and meaty these are? Very, very thick. Can you see how deep this is? There was a big gash here. So that's the sorry tale of my run flats. But I may or may not go to different sizes and may go to go flats because they are cheaper. That may be something I may do in the future. I'm going to wait till these run down because at the moment I haven't got a problem with these tyres. They're fine. They're not causing me issues. Also, the other fact is that if you do have a flat or you hit a puncture, you've got enough. Now you should be able to, depending on your car, 50 kilometers at 50 miles, 50 kilometers at 50 miles an hour, or 50 kilometers at 50 kilometers an hour. I can't remember now. There's something like that. So you can drive up to 50 kilometers on a flat, which should be enough to get you to a gas station or get you home. So at least it can get you home to where you may have a spare, or to a garage, or get you off the side of the road. If you're in the middle of nowhere, you may be able to get you to a truck stop or something. And then you can get the CAA to tow you somewhere, or if you have a spare. Problem with a lot of these. Oh, I gotta tell you, you're gonna laugh. Another problem with these cars, the reason why they went for run flats, okay, is because to save money. There's two things with having a spare tyre and a run flat. And the reason why they've gone for run flats is to save money, environmental impact, and weight savings. Now, weight savings on an ordinary car, you're not going to make be too much of a difference. On a BMW, you are, right? It's a sports car. The less weight you have in it, the faster the pickup, everything else, okay? Room. A spare tyre has to take room in the car, okay? Now, usually, you remember back in the day, you'd go into the trunk, you'd lift the thingy bob up, and it would be underneath there, right? Now, in the BMWs now, they have no room for a run flat, for a tyre. I'll get into the point. There's no space. So if you even want to put a spare tyre in there, just to be on the safe side, you got no space. I'll show you the trunk. The idea is you don't, and it doesn't. That car doesn't come with with a jack, or that thingy to turn the jack up, because you've got no spare. Sometimes, and it also should have come with the fixer, the mobility kit, right? There's a space for the mobility kit, but no mobility kit, because you got to run flat. So crazy, absolutely crazy. But it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I did the research before I bought the two, but with the one, I didn't know any of this. So with the run flat technology, oh, and that's what I was going to say about why they have about run flats, right? So majority of cars, when you have the spare tire, hardly gets used. I would say, I think I saw a stat somewhere, don't quote me, 80% of the cars, which if you go to a scrapyard, have never used the flat tires, the spare tire, perfectly normal. There are some places where people do get flats, okay, that does happen, but it's not the majority, right? They're not being used. Also, if you've got all these spare tires going into the dump, it's not environmentally friendly. Sorry about this, you're not really seeing my face properly, but I'm trying to keep my thing down a bit, okay? The other thing is cost. That's the number one driving factor. What you pay for a spare tire is not what BMW pay. So when they make 1 million cars, right? If let's just say, for example, a tire is, say, a spare wheel, right? Spare wheel and kit, all that kind of stuff is, say, if you bought it brand new from BMW, maybe say $500. Okay, let's just say. But BMW will probably only get that for maybe $5 or $10. I don't know. I'm kind of guessing, but like a 10, because they're making 1 million cars. Michelin or Conti will say, okay, that's a $300 tire. You're going to make 1 million, take 1 million off us. Okay, we'll give you, and also you get free advertising, $100 a tire instead of 300. Maybe $20 a tire. I don't know. So if they can save that money on 1 million cars, they've saved money. But they'll still bring the price of the car down for you. More profit for them. Okay, so that's basically why people have the industry went run flats. There was a big pushback for people who didn't want run flats. They actually wanted a special tyre, because the problem is cost. If you have to replace the tyre, if you get another thing, if you get a flat in it, if you take it to some places, they will refuse to fix the tyre for you, because they'll say, oh, BMW don't want you to fix it. Run flats are fixable. You can get them patched depending on where they are. Okay, so what they want you to buy is a $400 tire. And some of the cheaper cars, 400 is, you can get 4 tires, $100 a tire, or maybe even $200 a tire. Right? It's 2 tires. On this car, $380 from BMW, plus taxes, plus fitting, plus all this kind of crap, comes to $422. Ding, 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 ding. 4 tires at $422. $1,600. $1,600 for 4 tires, run flats. That's why people throw them out. The other thing with run flats is that it is really good safety. If you're driving along, you hit something, your tire isn't going to blow out. You're not going to die. I don't know how I hit that. It may have been hit on a pothole doing 80 or 90 kilometers an hour. That could have blown out if it was an ordinary tire. So you pay your money, you take your chances. So let's show you the trunk properly here. I'm desperately trying not to show you my body because I'm just wearing a t-shirt. Okay, so here. So underneath here, as you can see, there is no space to put a flat, put one of these tires. There is no space. Okay, and if you look under here, actually let's take this out. As you can see, this on some of the BMWs had a space for a tyre, but there's no space. Can you see this thing here? Yes, that's where the Cano fix-it flat tyre slime thing kit goes, but because you don't use it on run flats. So BMW have saved money on that. So there's no place to put a flat tyre. Now, there we go. These are my run flats here. These are my winter ones, ready to go. And these are the ordinary ones. You can see here, they're not as meaty. The sidewalls aren't as meaty. Look how thick that is. Trust me, it's very thick. It's like about that thick. This will be very thin. Right.